Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. So it's going to be forehand day today, but not just the forehand, contact point. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so I call this video Trust the Force video because where is your contact point of your forehand? Is it back here? Is it back here? Or is it back here when you're leaning back, right? Coach Gu is always on time. It's always in front, right? That's why I have Coach Gu here today, because he's gonna show you what on time means. And on time doesn't mean that when you see the ball, you hit the ball. Because when you see the ball, it's too late, okay? It's too late. You gotta trust the force, trust what you're doing, and just set up and get the timing down. So of course, Coach Gu is here. Got my man, Coach Chris. He's half asleep, but that's okay. And we're gonna show you how to be on time with your forehand, okay? Stay tuned. So Coach,
Yes.
how is it that you are always on time right there? What are you thinking before, let's say, what are you thinking before you strike? What are you seeing? What's going in your mind to make sure that you're in position?
That is a great question. The biggest thing, just when I break it down, is 3 steps. 1, I look at how the ball is hit. So, for example, with Coach Chris, he hits a great ball too. So I'm expecting him to hit heavy, deeper balls. So therefore, I'm thinking about movement. That's my next step, movement. So when I'm moving, right, I'm adjusting my footwork. I'm predicting where the ball is usually going to land, right? My goal is to make sure I get into a better position off the bat. A lot of players, or a lot of beginner players, try to move while they hit, right? So therefore, they're always going to feel like they're late or out of position. With most of the players that you see who are training, our goal is to make sure we get there as fast as we can. So when we predict it, we're like, all right, it's going to land around right here, deep corner. I'm going to get my footwork here first right away, and then we can make minor adjustments when we have time. And then the last step is contact. What I always tell my players is to make sure when you're striking this ball, think about a clock, right? If I'm standing, if my left foot's right here, this is 12 o'clock, right? So I'm thinking about my contact to be, this is 1, around 2 to 3 o'clock. 3 is the max. You never want to go past 3. That's where you get behind on the ball, right? So worst comes to worst is 3, which is in the middle, but preferably if the players want to take the ball earlier or just get it in front so they have that power, I always suggest 2 o'clock. So you see how every time I hit this ball, I'm trying to adjust or try to always get my racket out in front more at 2 o'clock. So like I said, it's predicting, it's moving, and then afterward it's contact, just trusting yourself to just swing at 2 o'clock.
So a lot of people don't trust themselves. That's just kind of nature.
Yes.
Right? It's just, you don't see it, you don't believe it.
Yeah.
Right? So where at the point of the person striking the ball till it landing on the court do you actually say, this is when I'm going to let go of this forehand? Like, at what point?
That's a good question. So what I always think about, and this is what I've been taught before, one thing is always when a ball bounces, right? When the ball comes, right, you expect it to be like a forehand or a backhand, correct? So when you see the ball coming, all right, you're like, okay, this is going to be forehand. So your take back, that's why we all coaches say, have a quick take back. Because if you slow down, you're just going like this or like this, your tendency is going to be late, right? So that's why we say have a quick take back. So when that quick tap pad comes along, let's say it's on the forehand side, for example, if we know it, right? When that ball bounces, right, that's where we should be almost setting our feet. The biggest point is when that ball bounces up, and there's this point where, I'll show you guys an example, a little science experiment, right? When the ball bounces, there should be a point where the ball just stays in the air just for a second, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct.
There's a ball that just stays, when the ball bounces, it just stays in that certain area just for a second before it drops. And that's what we love to hit it at. When that ball comes, right, at full force, it just stays up in that area. That's where I already start swinging. So our goal is when that ball bounces, I'm making contact and getting it in front of me at 2 o'clock. So therefore it's the easiest to hit, and it should easily feel like you can put more weight and transfer that power to your ball. So when people try this, they're like, oh, isn't this supposed to feel rushed? In my opinion, how I learned it, it should feel a bit rushed because you're not used to swinging forward. Our natural tendencies, or most players' tendencies, or beginners' players' tendencies, is to stay back because this is the most comfortable feeling, right? Like a lot of baseball players you see, they're like out in front, like slap shotting or like just batting it out. They're really comfortable in the middle, right? But for us tennis players, we like to stay in front more, is because that's where our natural tendency of their swing is to naturally finish more forward, right? So that's why if you do try this, you're gonna feel a little rushed. So don't worry, it's gonna feel unnatural in the beginning, but when you start getting used to it and really starting to feel that drive forward, right, and learning how to like those 3 steps I said before, you're gonna feel a little more confident, and you're gonna miss a few in the beginning. But when you start practicing it more and more and more, you're gonna gain more confidence, and it's gonna feel more natural.
I feel like this drill or this shot, like we all on Filipino time. If you're Filipino, you know what I'm talking about. You always late. You know what I'm talking about. All right? So you got to trust the force, right? And trust that your racket will be in that right position upon contact, right? Because I tell people, hit it out in front, hit it out in front. Nothing changes because they think that back here is hitting it out in front, right? So I got Coach Gu and Coach Chris to show you a drill that will help you with this a little bit. All right, so we got a drill for you guys to help you feel when you strike the ball in front of you, okay? Repeat, this is for you to feel how to make contact in front of you, not next to you, behind you, okay? Coach Gu, explain please.
So this drill I usually teach from all levels. This is a very simple drill. We have Coach Chris, who's our lovely volunteer here. He looks half dead as usual, but you know, he'll get through this. He's gonna actually be tossing balls behind me. What I mean by that is, so pretend that Chris, this is the baseline here. He's gonna step a few steps back behind me. I'm gonna get in my ready forehand position. And when he's gonna throw it. And as you can tell, my goal, you do one more for me, Coach Chris. Right? You can tell from my swing, that ball's gonna bounce forward, right? So our natural tendency now is like, oh, that ball's gonna move forward. Why not take it in front of us? So therefore, it's gonna make you, 1, move your feet forward more, learning how to transfer your weight forward. 2, you're seeing where you're gonna hit it now. So when you see how my eyes are on the ball, and I just trust it enough to say, all right, I'm just gonna swing out in front and see what happens. Then you can see my right arm extending fully out when I swing, and you see me naturally cover over. So therefore, it's working on 2 things. 1, transferring your weight. 2, contact out in front. Oh, Lord.
All right, guys, I'm going to let Coach Goo sum it up for you guys. All right, Coach Goo.
So, remember the trust the force, just like Harry said. Also, taking away the 3 tips or 3 stages. 1, predicting where the ball's going to land. 2, making sure you're moving your feet ahead of time and having a quick take back. And 3, trusting your contact in front. Think about 2 o'clock, right? Your stance is at 12. You want to get it around 2 o'clock, which is 1 and 2, around right to 2 o'clock. And especially with this drill that I've taught you, just have fun with it. Like every other drill, just have fun with it. The goal is to make sure you're not letting the ball drop. If you see Harry's first few attempts, he actually let the ball drop way too low, and you can see he was having a tough time. He thought he was swinging out in front, but he was actually swinging it just in the middle of him or a little bit behind. So when you're trying to approach this drill, it should feel like you're almost throwing your racket so far in front that you feel like you're overswinging. It should almost make you feel like, as you can tell when I did it, my right leg come over as I was coming into the shot. So that's the right approach to it. So have fun with it as well.
All right, just for quick clarification though, when Coach Goo is saying a clock and 2 o'clock, the clock isn't this way. It's actually this way.
Yes.
Okay. Therefore, 12 o'clock is here, 1 is here, and 2 is here. So he's saying that you hit it at 2 o'clock there. So it's this way, not this way, because everybody refers to clocks facing
not
you.
Facing. Think about on the floor.
Right.
On the floor.
So like that. Okay. So want to thank my man Coach Goo for showing you the way of the force and the contact point of where you should hit it on that forehand. Coach Goo, where can we find you?
You can find me at AG's at Tennis. I'll also be posting content there as well.
All right. Also want to thank my man Coach Chris for always being there for me. All right, Coach Chris, where can we find you?
Find me at CB Chien Tennis, and I'll post that same content on Goo's that he has for his Instagram there too as well.
Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your